My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things. And today I will be giving you my April TBR. I do want to give the disclaimer that my setup right now sucks, and it's because all of my books, aside from the ones next to me, are in the new house already. So I don't have my bookshelves and I don't have any books, but in April I will be moved. So by the time no, not by the time this video comes out, but by the time the next video comes out, I should already be moved. I hope. I hope things go correctly. Whew, all right. So this is going to be my TBR for April. It's a little bit of chaos. It's mostly like 22 books, 23 books, not that many. Let's get the show on the road. The first book series that I want to address, it's 4 books, and it is part of my childhood reread series, and that is going to be the Children of the Lamp series by P.B. Kerr. I read these books as a kid. They're a middle grade series, and they're essentially about these 2 twins who, of course they're twins, there's 2 of them, who discover that they're descended from a long line of jinn, which are genies. If I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sorry. I tried to find an appropriate pronunciation for it online and failed. They essentially find out that they're genies and have to embark on these various journeys to solve the supernatural and also things regarding historical artifacts. I remember enjoying them a lot as a child. However, I have a strong feeling that there's gonna be some problematic parts of it when I get to actually rereading it. I think that the last book I never actually read. I think I only read the first 3 books, and the last book came out when I was already a teenager or an adult. I think it came out around 2012, if not later. So I will be reading that one for the first time, but the rest will be childhood rereads. The book after that is going to be Pretty Baby by Mary Kubica. It is a thriller, and it is essentially about a woman who brings home this other woman and her baby, brings her home to her family, just like you would a stray cat. And her family's not super into it because why would you be? And strange things start occurring, and they don't really know what's happening. The summary doesn't really tell you a lot about what the quote-unquote strange things are, but it's a thriller, so it could be anything. It sounds very Lifetime movie though. Like, I don't know if any of you have watched the Lifetime movies, but essentially it sounds like when they hire a nanny or a housekeeper or something and they kill the wife and then take on as the new wife. It sounds like that energy, but we'll see. The next book series I'm going to be reading, so it is 3 books. It's Aru Shah by Roshani Chokshi. Roshani is also the author of the Gilded Wolf series, and I really enjoy her writing, so I'm excited to read this middle grade series from her. It is part of the Rick Riordan Presents collection, and so it is one of those middle grades that brings in other cultures. Essentially, Aru Shah tends to lie about going on trips, and she is caught in one of her lies. She wants to prove that the museum that her mother runs is way more interesting than she's been saying it is, and decides to light a cursed lamp. She ends up releasing this ages-old demon and basically has to work with the Pandava brothers, which is from the Mahabharata, to stop the demon. And there's 3 books out right now and a 4th book coming out, so I'm really excited to get to reading that. The next book is Sweet and Bitter Magic by Adrienne Tooley, which we have here. Wahoo. Essentially, I don't know how many times I'm going to say essentially, I'm so sorry. I really have the tendency to just hone in on one specific word, don't I? An exiled witch meets the source of magic, which is basically somebody who has magic but can't use it, or is made of magic but can't use it, and they decide to make a bargain together to hunt down this dark witch who has caused a pandemic that is causing the source of magic's father to die. I believe it's gay, so that's good. So I will be very excited to get started on reading this. I was lent this book by Finn, and so I really need to get to reading it so I can give it back to him though. Next, I will be rereading Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare in order to start Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. This is part of the Shadowhunters series. It is in the timeline-ish of the Infernal Devices and before the Mortal Instruments, so it is after Tessa and Will have gotten together, and it is about their children and the people, the Shadowhunters of their children's age. I don't want to spoil anything that happens in Chain of Gold, because some people are reading it for the first time, so I'm not going to, but it essentially follows Cordelia Carstairs and James Harrendale and drama and romance and all of that crap. Trust me, I'm as shocked as everyone else that I like the Shadowhunters as much as I do. I did get the Fairy Loot edition of the book though, and she's beautiful. So, yeah. The next book is I Love This Part by Tilly Walden. It is kind of a slice of life romance comic. It is going to be a short read. My best friend Carly bought it for me for Christmas and I just haven't been able to read it yet. However, you know, that's it. That's the vibe. It's small love and slice of life and romance. I really like Tilly Walden's books. They're almost always queer, and I like the art style a lot. The next book is going to be Namesake by Adrienne Young. That is the sequel to Fable by Adrienne Young. Fable basically has bought her own freedom and the ship's freedom and now has to figure out her mother's secrets and find out what her mom was hiding, and that's what the second book is about as far as I can tell. I'm very excited. I should be getting that in the mail on Tuesday so that I can talk about how pretty those two books look together, because Fable is a beautiful book. The next book is going to be Cute Mutants 4. I have the first 3 books here. Cute Mutants 4, it comes out on April 6th. I'm very excited about getting my hands on it and reading it. I did read an arc of it already, so obviously I know what happens and I loved it, but I will be rereading it when it comes out as the official published version. And like I said, it's just a continuation of Cute Mutants 4. It's super, super queer. It's super fantastic. S.J. Whitby does an amazing job of writing teen characters in a way that feels realistic and also like something I wish I had had as a teen. The next is The Unspoken, named by A.K. Larkwood. This is potentially a queer fantasy. I'm not 100% sure if it's queer, but it is listed as queer on Goodreads, but you know how Goodreads can be. Basically, this lady was supposed to be a sacrifice to the gods, and she ends up making a deal with the mage instead to be a spy to bring down the empire, but the gods don't like that. They're not happy about that. So I will be starting that book in April. I know my friends Alicia and Art are already reading it. I believe they're buddy reading it right now. So hopefully they'll let me know if it's really good, and I will have appropriate expectations when it comes down to reading it. The next book is Under Shifting Stars by Alexandra Latos. I don't know if I said her last name correctly. This book follows twins. I almost said 2 twins again, and like, of course there's 2 of them because they're twins. Again, I don't know why I'm struggling with this. Twins literally run in my family. I'm surrounded by them. I don't know why I'm struggling with this. Basically, their brother has died, and it's changing their relationship with each other and with others, and they're trying to figure out themselves, and it has queer and non-binary rep, so I'm very excited to read it. It's very contemporary, though, so there's a chance that I don't like it, but I'm finding that queer contemporaries and, like, queer romances seem to be excusable in the grand scheme of things, so we'll see what happens. After that is This Is All Your Fault by Amina May Safi. This is set over the course of one day. They basically are a group of young women trying to save an indie bookstore. There's queer rep, and it is a romance-based book. It does seem, again, like a contemporary book, but it also seems kind of fun and lighthearted. I could be very wrong, though. It could be very dark, but we'll definitely see when I get to it. After that, we have Bloody Spade by Brittany Wilson. This is an arc. The author reached out to me and asked me to, if I would read their book, and I said yes, of course. And so, because it sounds very up my alley, it is the first installment in an urban fantasy duology. It follows a cat-eared thief and a girl as they try to navigate his magic. She has a hot-headed brother, and they have feelings for one another, and not the brother and the sister, that would be weird. The main character and the female character. But yeah, so it's kind of anime Hell Children is what the vibes that I'm getting, anime gay Hell Children, and so I'm very excited to get to reading it. Also, I think the cover is really pretty. The next book is We Were Never Here by Andrea Bartz. This is a thriller from the author of The Herd. It is about an annual backpacking trip that goes wrong, because of course, right? you said thriller and backpacking trip, I'm gonna say that that goes wrong. It goes badly. I really liked The Herd, so I'm very excited to read We Were Never Here. I did get this as an ARC from NetGalley though, so obviously my opinions have nothing to do about how I obtained the book, but I'm excited to read it nevertheless. I like the author a lot, and we have the same name, so that's cool. Next is A Breeder by Honey Van... I don't know how to say this person's last name, and there was no information online about it, so I'm also really nervous about this book. It is an ARC, and when I read the summary, I was like, cool, great, this sounds really cool. And it's a YA dystopian, and it's like take down the government, feels very 2012. I didn't think twice about the name. And then when I was putting this list together to film my TBR, I went to Goodreads to make sure I spelled the last name correctly in my notes. And the reviews are concerning about what they do with 13-year-old girls in this YA dystopian. So I have some concerns. Obviously, I'm going to give it a fair chance, but I just want to fair warn for that. And if you see me in a vlog in 2 or 3 weeks screaming about it, I told myself so. Alright? I'm aware of what I'm getting into here. The next book that I'm going to be reading is Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. It is the sequel to Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I am just really excited to continue that story. This is the paperback reprint that my partner bought me. He bought me all 3 of them, and I think they're beautiful. So here it is. I have them in my home still because I thought I was going to read them in March, but the chances of that happening are slim to none, so yeah. Anyway, very excited to get to read this next book and probably finish the series. The last book is bigger than the first 2, so this one is pretty thick. It's, yeah, 500 and some odd pages long, so she's pretty thick, but very excited to get to starting it. And then I will be reading Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, as well as this little mini book by Holly Jackson that Art ordered for me because it was in the UK and then shipped to me because she loves me and tolerates my chaos. And it's called Killjoy, also by Holly Jackson. It's the prequel. It's the prequel to the first 2 books, and so I am very excited to read the sequel as it just recently came out in the United States, and then read this prequel and enjoy it as well. So that is my TBR for the month of April. I might add more books and read more books than I normally end up adding on the TBR, but I have a feeling that because I will be unpacking my whole life in the month of April, I may not read as much as I think I will, especially when it comes to anything that requires me to read with my eyeballs and not my ears. So there's that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's any books that you are going to read that I've mentioned, let me know. If there's any that you've already read and have an opinion on, let me know about that also. If you have any book recommendations for May, that is my birthday month, so I will very happily take them and put them on my wish list and harass everyone around me to purchase books for me for my birthday, because that's really all I want, or furniture for my new room. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you didn't, I'm very, very sorry. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Turn on the notifications bell. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at mousereads, on Twitter at mousereads. Instagram is mouse.reads. Twitter is mousereads. Goodreads is mousereads. And what else do I do? Oh, TikTok now is also mousereads. So you can check me out on all of those other platforms if you want to. Totally understand if you don't. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to drink some water and take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks. Bye.